Welcome into my lip gloss and lip oil collection. This is not a declutter video. I just wanted to go over all of my lip glosses and lip oils, and I thought that it would be fun to swatch them all, try some of my favorite formulas on. Lip oils and lip glosses right now, I feel like have a strong presence in like the beauty space. I feel like every company is coming out with their version of a lip oil. There's a lot of variations. I have been growing my collection a lot recently, so I figured it would be a really good time right now to go over some of my favorite formulas, share them with you guys. Like I said, try some of them on. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. I kind of zoomed us in here, and I think what we'll do is we'll start with lip oils because I just see a bunch of those on the top. I have 3 lip oils from Kosas. These, I believe, came in a set. I've had these for a little bit, but they're still good. I really do like this formula. I think that it's like a really thin formula. This one is in the shade Unzipped. They're really lightweight, but they offer a decent amount of pigmentation. They're on the milkier side. This one is called Unbuttoned, and this one is Unhooked. I think these two are probably my favorite. This is just like a little bit of a wash of color, but I like this shade the best. This brownie one is not my favorite, but it's still nice. I think Kosas did a really good job. It's on the thinner side for like a lip oil, but I think it's a cross between a lip oil and a lip gloss, and it does have a little bit of tack to it. I have 3 lip oils from LA Girl. I think these are really awesome. I don't hear anyone talking about these. I have 3 shades. They're honestly really, really thin, but they're still like nourishing. I just noticed it says nourishing gloss. So this one is in the shade Shimmer Grapefruit. It does have like little sparkles in it, but do you guys see how that swatches? It's just super thin. It's like one other that I have in my collection that's really just kind of this super thin, very lip oil like, more so than some of the other lip oils, which are just thicker. They're on the thicker side. They're more like glosses in some cases. These ones are literally just like slippy oil, very, very thin. This one is in Sheer Strawberry, and the last one that I have is in Sheer Watermelon. These don't have any kind of pigment to them. Like they kind of look like in the tube that they would, and even on the applicator, but they don't when they translate to the lips. The biggest difference with these 3 is that they actually have distinct smells. This distinctly smells like watermelon, grapefruit, and then strawberry. They're very, very pleasant, mild. They're not like, they don't overdo it. It doesn't get into your mouth or anything. So it's a light fragrance, but it's still a very distinct fragrance. I think these are really, really good if you guys are into more like lip oil type products that are just very thin. These are awesome. I think they're about $5 a piece. I picked up a new one from Makeup Revolution. This one was the Crystal Aura lip oil. They came with 3 different oils that they launched, and they were slightly different shades. Like one was blue. So far I've only tried this a couple of times. It has a very strong scent to it. It has little bits of crystal in there, so it's kind of cool aesthetically. It comes with a rollerball applicator. It's on the thinner side. It's definitely not a thick lip oil or a glossy lip oil, just very, very thin. It does have a strong scent to it though. It also is very strong when it gets to your lips. I almost don't like it because it's that kind of slippy product that kind of gets into your mouth, and so I do taste it a little bit. It's not my absolute favorite. I could see myself giving this to my daughter and not holding onto it for very long, but I have only tried it just a couple of times. And by the way, you guys, I will have everything listed in the description box, including all of the shades in case I miss anything. I am disappointed about this, not the product itself, but I had 3 shades of the NYX Fat Oil or Fat Lip Drip Oil, and then my daughter took 2 of them. So I had Newsfeed, which was a red one, and then I had the clear one, and yeah, she took both of them, so I only have this one left. This one here is in Follow Back. It's a more brownie or kind of like orangey shimmer shade. I think these are tremendous. Big doe foot applicator. It's pretty thick, but it's also not overly sticky. It's your lip oil / gloss formula, so it's not an overly slippy oil, but it's also not an overly thick gloss. I think these are perfect. They're just slightly pigmented, really nice shine. They have just enough tack to stay on the lips, but they're not like overly sticky or overly textured. I have one here that is from Uoma by Sharon C. So this is her more affordable line. This I threw in here because it's kind of like a lip oil. It's very, very thin. It's called It's Complicated, a lip tint plus an oil plus a gloss. It's more like a glossy tint, and then it fades. So this kind of reminds me of the new Rare Beauty lip oils, in that it's just this really, really thin, very pigmented formula with a tiny bit of gloss, but the gloss doesn't stay for super long. So it's thin like a lip oil and it's slick like a lip oil, but has a bunch of pigment and staining like a lip tint. So yeah, I would equate this very similarly to the new Rare Beauty lip oils. I did pick this up at Walmart. I would definitely be interested in trying some of the lighter shades because they do carry them there. I think it is a nice formula if you like something that's staining. I just don't think the gloss lasts for a super long time. This one is in the shade Mischief. I have 6 here from Moira Beauty. These are all like brand new launches of their lip oils. These are called the Glow Getter Hydrating Lip Oils. This launch was all like very nudie shades, and these are interesting. Like they're also your almost gloss, not really lip oil kind of formula. And they all, like when you swatch them, they all look very similar. When you get them to the lips, they're very different. And then the way that they break down is also very different. It's interesting. I noticed such a big difference when it's on my lips. When I first got them, I was like, oh, okay, half of these look exactly the same. Like these two could be the same, these two, I don't know. There's just not a huge variation, but there seems to be when they get to my lips. They're very, very glossy formula, but they're also very, very thick and also very, very sticky. They're the most sticky formula, like lip oil that I have in my collection. I did pick up all of the 6 shades in this range. This one right here is Teaberry. This darker one is in the shade Honey Boo. I have to say these are probably my 2 favorite shades, even though these are beautiful, very nudie shades. The way that the darker shades break down on your lips is so flattering, at least on my skin tone. I don't think these are overly pigmented, and so they don't necessarily like stay super pigmented as the product starts to wear down like it naturally would. And the darker ones, for whatever reason, they just stay more vibrant longer. So I happen to like the way that these two look on the lips a little bit better. Here are the last 4 shades swatched. So this is Lovely Rose, this is Au Naturel, this is Soft Peach, and this one, it's only Smooches. So here when I'm swatching them, they do look quite different. Like I said, when you get them to the lips, they look very different. It's just that when they start to fade, I think these 2 colors are really nice. I honestly don't like these colors when they're super pigmented, like in a lipstick by themselves, but for whatever reason in this formula, these darker colors are awesome. I have one here from Clarins. This is one of the Lip Comfort Oils. This one is in 08 Strawberry. I have to say, like as far as lip oils go, I feel like this is one of my favorite formulas. Big doe foot applicator. I mean, I have used quite a significant amount. I do feel like though this product goes quickly. If you can kind of see it in the tube, like it's definitely a more like runny formula, but it's still like super thick and glossy on the lips. Like it makes your lips look super plump and juicy. I don't think it has a huge amount of pigment, but it does have pigment when it gets to the lips. Like it does cast a pink or like red tint. It's just not like super prominent or anything. It almost just looks like your lips, but better. It smells like strawberry. It's very, very pleasant. This is definitely on like the pricier side. I think this is probably my favorite lip oil that kind of acts like a lip gloss. It's not overly slick. I have one from Essence that is a lip oil. This is the Pumpkins Pretty Please color changing lip oil. This was part of their Pumpkins Pretty Please launch that came out in like October, November of last year. I think this is a really good formula. It's very, very thin. It's like a lip oil kind of should be. It's slightly pigmented. It just feels so good on the skin. This was like a limited edition collection, if I understand correctly, so you can't get your hands on this particular one anymore. If I can, I will link it below, but I do believe Essence comes out with like different versions, not the Pumpkin Pretty Please of this lip oil. It's just a very thin formula, slightly pigmented, very nourishing. It's not the longest lasting, but I have found that with Essence products, some of their other glossies, like the super glossy gloss, I don't know, if you know what I'm talking about, then you know, I really like the way they feel. I just feel like they fade off very, very fast from my lips. This one is no exception to that. It does fade off very quickly, but it's a very, very nice, very thin, non-sticky lip oil. I have one here from Nars. This is actually called an oil infused lip tint. I don't think it's a tint necessarily. It's more like a lip oil. They don't carry these on Sephora's website, but they do still have them, I believe, on the Nars website. This is so thin. It is such a thin, very smoothing formula. I have to say, this is a product that I've had for a while, and I'm starting to see like a lot more companies kind of come out with this formula. This is more a lip oil, in my opinion, than some of my other lip oils. I think this is like the epitome of just smoothing and nourishing, very, very thin. It's definitely infused with oils. If you guys can like just see how I'm like swatching this, it just glides on. It's not sticky. I like that it has a little bit of a tint. I don't hear anybody talking about this. Like I said, Sephora doesn't even carry these anymore. You'd have to go to their website to get it. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but this is an older product that probably came out before its time, but it's such an awesome formula. It just smooths out all of the lines on my lips. It's the least sticky like lip oil that I have. Such a good product, you guys. I have one here from Kiko Milano. This is called the Nourishing Lip Oil. I have talked about this on my channel recently. This is another one that's very, very thin. It just glides right on. It's just so slippy and smooth and like very nourishing. I think that's the biggest thing, is that it just feels so good on the lips when you put it on, because it's just so thin and so oily. This one does have a scent though, because it has these floral bits in here. You can smell the floral in this product, and you can also like taste it. Again, because it's such a slippy product, it definitely like gets into your mouth occasionally. It's hard not to when it's a product like this, and so I can taste it sometimes. And so yeah, I don't absolutely love that part about it, but as far as like lip oils go, there's a bit of the floral. It's very similar to the one from Nars, and that it's just super, super thin, super line smoothing, very, very nourishing. So this is a really good lip oil from Kiko. Again, another brand I don't hear a lot of people talking about. I want to mention this one in kind of the lip oil categories. This is one of the balms from Rare Beauty. This one is in Nearly Mauve. And by the way, you guys, this one from Nars is in High Security, and the one from Kiko just doesn't have a shade. But the one from Rare Beauty, I feel like is more of a lip oil formula than really her actual lip oils that she just recently launched, because it's like the Nars and the Kiko in that it's just so smooth and like a very oily texture that just fills in your lines. It's super nice. I think these are really, really good products from Rare Beauty. Again, more so like a lip oil than probably her lip oils, which are like right here. I have had more of these products like in the past that I've ended up decluttering, because I do notice that they kind of go bad relatively quickly compared to some of the other lip products that I have in my collection. Just really smoothing, really nourishing, good amount of pigmentation, but not too much. These are tremendous. I have one here from Merit. This is one of their gelées. It's called the Shade Stick Gelée Lip Oil. This is not my favorite product. This is on the thinner side for sure. This one is a higher price point. It's another one that's a very, very thin formula. I do like the way that it feels on my lips. It just fades off for me in about 5.5 seconds. This is just a product that doesn't last very long on the lips, and I think that's why I was a little bit disappointed with it. And it's not as nourishing or as soft as the Nars one, but they're very, very similar in formula, that they're just very light, very gel-like, very thin, oily textures. So I like the way this feels. I just wish it lasts longer. I think probably because of its price point, honestly. More like a gel consistency, not sticky. I just wished it lasted longer on my lips. Let's just go ahead and talk about the ones from Rare Beauty. So I have 3 shades. I think that these are very similar to the Uoma by Sharon C in that they're a very thin formula, but they're almost more of like a tint with a slight gloss on them. I think the biggest difference between these and the ones from Uoma by Sharon C is that these are more moussey. They're definitely a thicker formula. The Sharon C one is much more of a thin viscosity. Like, it does not have any real texture to it at all, where these ones kind of do. I don't know if you could kind of tell that on my swatches, but they definitely are like a tiny bit moussey. This one is in the shade Wonder, Happy, and Joy. So those are the 3 shades that I have. I think these aren't as staining as the ones by Uoma by Sharon C. The gloss is very, very nice though, but I don't find that it stays a super long time. I mean, that's really the only thing. Very, very slight staining. The gloss doesn't stay super long, but they're very, very comfortable because they're almost like that moussey texture. Let me see if I can just wipe these off and kind of show you what the staining looks like. Not as pigmented or as staining or as the one by Uoma by Sharon C, but still very, very nice. So I think these are tremendous lip products. Even though they consider themselves lip oils, I wouldn't say they're lip oils in the same way that I think of a conventional lip oil. I think that they're even kind of innovative. I don't really have anything else in my collection or that I've tried that perform identically to this. So while I don't think they're like your conventional like lip oil, they're still really good products. I have one from Haus Labs. This is a really good product. It's thicker. It's almost like the Clarins. They perform very similarly. I think the biggest difference between the Haus Labs one and the Clarins one is that the Haus Labs one is a stickier formula. The Clarins is, as I kind of showed you before, like a much runnier formula, and it's not as sticky a formula as this one. Otherwise, I think that they're very, very similar, both in their like consistency and weight. It's just that I think that this one from Haus Labs has more of a stick to it, and I think it's a kind of longer lasting formula than the one from Clarins. It's just a very, very slight tint. I'm sorry that I'm getting staining from the Rare Beauty one. It's very, very comfortable though and pretty high shine. I think this is a really good product, but I definitely feel like I prefer the Clarins one over the Haus Labs one. I have one here from Milani. This is one of their Fruit Fetish lip oils. This one is in Cherry Lime. I did have another shade of this, but it's another product that my daughter took and it's now gone. I've zoomed us in a little bit closer here. This is such a good product, like so inexpensive. This is like, I think probably my favorite drugstore lip oil. I might have said that about the NYX, but I think this one is definitely my favorite. It's so in the middle, like it gives a good amount of pigmentation, but it is super glossy, but it's also very thin. I don't know if you guys can see that on the swatch, just how smooth this is going on. It's a very, very cool product. They have a tremendous like scent to them. They all smell super pleasing, or at least the 2 shades that I have tried. These are usually like always sold out in my local Walmart. I think these are probably my favorite drugstore lip oils. We are on to our final lip oil. This one is from Lila B. I am sorry to say though that they have gone out of business, and I started to get into their products as they were exiting Sephora, but you can still get this product on Nordstrom and a site called bluemercury.com online. I have only ever been able to find this in like 2 shades. This is called their Lovingly lip oil. This is the most pigmented lip oil that I have in my collection. None of the other lip oils really pack this much pigment with this much gloss and not be sticky. It is, in a very sense of the lip oil meaning, just very smoothing, very thin formula, but offers the most pigment. I will link where you can get this in the description box. I think it's a really good product, so I am sorry to say that like they are going out of business. Okay, I lied. I do have one more lip oil. This one is from Jacyln Cosmetics. This one was in the shade Candy Drip. I just smelt it, and this is like, this has gone bad. It's definitely got to go. This one is very similar to the Clarins. This was actually a really good product from Jacyln. I love the pigmentation on this. It was really high shine. It has a little bit of stick to it, so it lasted a decent amount of time, but it's also not an overly thick formula. It was a really good product, honestly. Yeah, but I've smelled this. It's definitely gone bad. I've used a considerable amount of it anyway, so this is like one that I am just gonna throw away after this video. I'm not supporting her or her brand anymore, but I will say that some of her products are actually really good, and this one is no exception to that. Okay, let's move on into the lip glosses next. I have 2 here from Fenty. Both of these are the Gloss Bombs, so the original formula. I have never tried the cream or the heat. This one is in Fenty Glow, and this one is in Glass Slipper. These are such a good formula. They're very sticky, so they have like a good amount of lasting lasting power, but they're also very, very smooth on the lips. They get their hype for good reason. I think though that there are other like drugstore products on the market now, like even Milani does really good lip glosses, but I think these are tremendous. I love having these in my collection because I think they perform so well, and probably that they're longer lasting than some of my other formulas. So I think these are really, really good. I can't say that they're my favorite glosses anymore, but they're some of the best. I have 3 here from Makeup by Mario. These are their moisture plumping like lip serums, but I still consider these like hybrid gloss because they're just so glossy. I don't know, they're so shiny. These are very, very thick formula, but they're so pigmented. I have to say though that they're kind of like on the messier side. I ended up getting these 2 shades first, but I liked the formula so much that I ended up going back for the Apricot Glow. This one here is in Plum Glow, this is Mocha Glow, and this is Apricot Glow. The only thing with these is that I don't find that they last very long. They're such a comfortable formula. They're so slick on the lips because they're just so much gloss to them that they almost slip off immediately. Like I end up rubbing my lips together so much that they just come off very, very quickly. I love the formula. I think it's a cooling plumping. I don't necessarily see the plumping. I just kind of like feel the tingle a little bit. I think it's kind of a unique formula. Like I don't have any other ones in my collection that perform like this. The only ones that probably come close are the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Glows, but I don't necessarily think they pack as much pigment as these do. So I think it's really nice. I would just say like it's so comfortable and so slippy that it just doesn't last longer than 30 minutes on me, and then I'm literally reapplying them. I have 3 here from NYX. These were from the Avatar collection. These are all very iridescent glosses. This purple one here is probably my favorite because it's just like a sheer wash of color, but you get a lot of like the sparkle, so it almost looks like 3D. This one is in the shade Biolume Glow. They're a very thin formula. They're kind of just fun because they're not everyday shades. This one is in Shimmering Waters. This one is Biolume Glow. This is Shimmering Waters. Our more greeny one is in Illuminati, but this purple one is the most pigmented, and that's why I say that this one is my favorite. This one actually looks good on top of a lot of lip products to just give it a little bit of, I don't know, shine and kind of 3D effect. They're very comfortable, but I can't say that they like stand out in the NYX line of lip products. They're just kind of cool for the way that they look on your lips. I have one here from Milani. This is one of their Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumpers. This one again has like little sparkles in it, so it's almost like this 3D effect when it's on your lips. It has a decent amount of pigment. I don't find that this is overly plumping. Like it's a cooling plumping. It's very nice. I think I just love like how iridescent it is. This was in the shade Luminoso. They launched a Luminoso line that came with like an eyeshadow, a lip gloss, and then I think something else. I didn't get anything else from that particular collection, but I did pick this up. I think it's good. I don't think it stands out though in my collection of like lip glosses, and I don't find it overly plumping. I'm not necessarily looking for plumping, so I don't buy it for that reason, so it really doesn't have to be like, that doesn't knock off points for me or anything. But yeah, I don't think other than like these 2 do I have anything that really claims to be like a gloss that's plumping. I have one here from Lunar Beauty. This is one of his lip glosses. I had 2. I had a clear one. I think my daughter probably took that one too. This is a really thin, very smoothing lip gloss. Nothing sticky about it. Has a really good pigmentation. I love his lip gloss formula. Like look how smoothing it is. It's almost like a lip oil. It's just so smooth, and it's not sticky, but it also doesn't slip off of my lips in 5 seconds. So this is super tremendous. Like it's probably one of my favorite like lip gloss formulas, honestly. Have another one from Kiko Milano. This is one of their 3D effect lip glosses from their Beauty Essentials collection that they just launched. I really do like this. I think Kiko just does a good job with lip products in general. They all seem to be very thin. This one is not like the lip oil in that it doesn't have any stick to it. This one does have some stick to it. I like this effect that it gives because I think that the little shimmers in it do make your lips look very like more juicy than the gloss itself, just because of the little sparkles in it. I think this is really pretty, but it's not like a standout product in my collection.
I have one here from the Sephora collection. This is the glossed lip gloss. And I forgot to mention the Lunar Beauty one is in the shade Aura. And that one from Kiko doesn't really have a shade because that's really the only one that it comes in. So back to the one from Sephora. This one is in the shade Yes Honey. This is nice. It's really sticky formula though. It's one of the stickier formula glosses that I have in my collection. It's milky. It's a milky kind of gloss. And I don't think that's just the shade. I think that this line is very milky in general, but super, super sticky. So it's a really, really long lasting formula. It's the kind where it's really difficult for me to even get off. So if you like something super long lasting and a really sticky formula, this is your guy right here. I have 4 here from Juvia's Place. This is from their Candy Shop collection. There was 5 in this collection. Again, it's another one where my daughter took the the 5th one, and so now I only have 4. I like Juvia's Place formula lip products. These ones are on the thinner side though. They have good pigmentation to them. They're kind of cool and like swirled. I don't think that they're overly sticky, or they're less sticky than their normal glosses that they have in their collection. They're just a much thinner formula than the normal like Juvia's Place glosses. And I like all of these shades. I was really surprised. I thought out of the whole collection, I might not like everything, but I think everything is beautiful in its own way. And I honestly like love the variety. I can't remember what the 5th one was like. I think it was more on the red side. So the first one is in Pineapple Pearl. The second one is in Bubblegum. Third one is in Strawberry and Cream. And the more brownie one is in Cocoa Milo. I think these are beautiful. I think these are very different than the Juvia's Place regular formula. I like them. I like the way that these feel. I like the way that these look. I think these are really good glosses from Juvia's Place, and overall Juvia's Place does a really good job, I think, on their lip product formula. So I will show you the other gloss that I have from Juvia's Place. This is from a like normal line. This one is in the shade Sis. You can see just how much stickier and thick this formula is than the other ones. And it honestly has so much more pigmentation, like when you're putting it on your lips, than the other 4. It's just a thicker consistency. It has a high shine and it just lasts forever. I love Juvia's Place glosses. I don't know which ones I prefer, the other ones or this one. I think that they're both great for different reasons, but this is just definitely a thicker consistency. I have 2 of the new releases from Makeup by Mario. These are the Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Colors. I think that they're like glosses. I have seen a lot of bad reviews or a lot of complaints about these products that they fade off very, very quickly. And I don't know if that's the color or the shine, that they're just not long lasting and that they're super patchy. But you guys saw me swatch them. I don't have any patchiness issues with these. I think they have really good pigmentation. They're not sticky formula at all. They're very, very thin. If they're plumping at all, it's a cooling plumping. And I think that these are a really long lasting formula, very thin, very line smoothing. So all of the complaints that I hear about these products, I don't have any issues with them. I think that they're tremendous. I have one here from Kismet, and I was wrong. This one is actually called the Lip Plumping Gloss. So this is another one in my collection that calls itself plumping, but I don't think it's plumping. It's really pigmented, very thick. It's very opaque. This is a brand that I ended up getting in like a BoxyCharm, and I can't find this anywhere other than like their website specifically. But I love this. This is a product that really shocked me because of how smooth and how pigmented and long lasting this formula is. It's just an unheard of brand. I mean, I think for most of us, nobody talks about this as far as I know. This is a tremendous formula. I have one here from Givenchy. They call these the Rose Perfecto Lip Balms. Again, this is like the Rare Beauty situation. It glides on very thin, very easily. I think the biggest difference between this one and the Rare Beauty is that this one is a stickier formula. I think that this particular shade doesn't have a lot of pigment, but I think that this line, there are ones that are just more pigmented than this. I think this is a really good one from Givenchy, but it's on the pricier side. So I think that if you're looking for something that's like this, then the one from Rare Beauty that also calls itself a balm is really like the best alternative kind of option that I have found that performs very similarly. I have 3 of the Pat McGrath mini Opulist glosses. I think these are awesome and beautiful. They all have like glitters in them, so they're super iridescent. There is nothing sticky about this formula in any way, shape, or form. They're very thin. They have great pigmentation. I actually think these are really, really good lip products from Pat McGrath. They go on, like, honestly, just like silk. They're so smooth and soft. They're like the least sticky lip glosses that I have in my collection. The more purpley one is called Lavendering. The one in the middle is called Naked Rose. And the one on the right is called Dream Escape. These are so beautiful. The sparkles are so thin and fine, and they look so gorgeous on the lips. I have 3 here in like the stick format, but they're all from different brands, but they perform like pretty similarly. At least these 2 do. So I have one from About Face. It doesn't necessarily call itself a gloss, but it is so glossy. These are called the Lip Color Butters. So while they don't call themselves a gloss or like a lip oil, I kind of think of it as being a gloss. I believe this one is called Cherry Pick, but it says Cherry Pick here, and then if you flip it over it says like Peach Punisher, so I'm not sure. But this one is such an underrated formula. Honestly, it's very similar to the Tarte. It has a lot of pigmentation. It's super duper glossy. Very, very similar to the Tarte. This one is the Maracuja Juicy Lip, and this one is in the shade Hibiscus. Let me swatch them side by side so you guys can see how similar the formula is. The pigment is very similar. The formula is very similar. In looking at them swatched side by side, I can tell this is a thicker consistency, so it looks a little bit shinier, but I almost prefer the About Face one because it's not as thick of a formula, and therefore like it's a more everyday formula than the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. I think the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip though is very similar to this one by Makeup by Mario, the Moisture Plumping Lip Serums. Both of these are tremendous. The other stick one that I have is from Flower Beauty. This one I almost feel like is like a balm. It's called the Plump Up Gloss Stick. I think it has like good gloss to it, but as you can see, like this one is the least glossy, second least glossy, and then this one's really, really glossy. So I don't think that this one was trying to dupe the Maracuja Juicy Glow, although I have even said that I thought it was kind of trying to dupe it, but they're just very different formulas. But these 2 I almost prefer on an everyday basis more so than this one, because this is just kind of a like thicker, more finicky formula. Like it definitely goes on thick and you gotta like blend it into your lips a little bit more. I think they all have the same amount of lasting power though. I have 2 from Marc Jacobs. I wasn't even gonna throw them in here because you can't get your hands on these anymore. These are called their High Shine Lip Lacquers. Actually, I think they're called the Enamored High Shine Lip Lacquers. This one is in the shade Sugar Sugar, and this one is called Pink Parade. These were awesome. They smell like peppermint. They're super smooth. They're very long lasting. They smooth out the lips. They're milky. They're like a milky gloss. This one, especially because of the shade, it's just very milky, but this one is milky too. They're just a smooth, very lightweight, both milky glosses, both very beautiful. They felt so comfortable on the lips. Yeah, like I said, they smelled like peppermint. These were awesome. I liked a lot of Marc Jacobs products, so I'm sorry to see these go, but these are honestly awesome, awesome glosses. I have one lip gloss from ABH. That's all it calls itself, is lip gloss. I think this color is awesome. It's super duper pigmented, watch. It's almost like duochromed. It's so beautiful. I think this is just your standard, like what you'd think of in a gloss. It's like medium weight, not too thin, not too thick, not overly sticky, but has a decent stick to it so it stays. It's just that this color is like two-toned. It is so gorgeous. This one is called Saint Tropez. So, so beautiful. I have 2 here from Make Beauty. These call themselves balms. This one's just called the Serum Balm, and this one is the Serum Balm Intense. The Serum Balm is just like a light pink color. It barely has any pigment to it whatsoever, but these are some of the thinnest balms. They're even thinner than the Rare Beauty and the Givenchy. They're so, so comfortable. Totally underrated. Nobody talks about these. The Serum Balm Intense, these ones have more pigment to them, and they're a little bit of a thicker formula, but also very like oily and thin and slick on the lips. so good. Totally an underrated formula in my personal opinion. I don't think that they're overly long lasting, but they definitely feel nourishing on the lips. I have one from Jouer. It's just a mini. This one is in rose gold. It's really pretty. It's a thin formula. It has like little sparkles in it, so it's really nice on the lips. It looks really pretty and flattering. It's not overly sticky, but it's a nice little topper. This is the only formula from Jouer and like the lip products that I have ever tried, but this is a really good formula, just decent. I have two here from NYX. I have one of their butter glosses and then one of their This Is Milky glosses. I prefer this formula so much more. The one butter gloss, it's a really thin formula and it's beautiful. Like it's just lightly pigmented. Can you see just how like creamy it is and how smooth it is? But it doesn't last very long on my lips. That's the only thing. It just doesn't have a lot of stick to it, so it just doesn't last very long. Like it is a milky gloss. It's very buttery, very smooth. It's almost like the balms. Honestly, they're very, very similar in texture. It just doesn't last very long. The other one, This Is Milky gloss, also milky. It's more pigmented, and this one has a little bit of a stick to it. So I find that it stays on my lips longer. It's just a good, pretty affordable, like drugstore pigmented gloss that's on the milkier side, as the name infers. I do forget to mention the shades, you guys, but rest assured they will be in the description box. I'm not sure what this one is. It just says like TIMG11, so I'm not really sure what that means. But the more brownie one here is in Madeline. I have one here from Revlon. This is the Super Lustrous Lip Gloss. This is nice because it has sparkles in it. It is your standard status quo lip gloss though. It's sticky, it's thick, and I mean, that's about it. It lasts a good amount of time. It kind of reminds me of the Juvia's Place one. I don't think it's as sticky or as thick as that, but it's pretty darn close. So that's pretty much about all I can say about it. I think it's beautiful. I really like the shade. I like the little like sparkles that are in it because I think that like translates to the lips when you get it on there. So pretty good, like tried and true gloss. I have two here from Wet n Wild. These are the Mega Slicks lip gloss. Sorry, I'm like tongue tied over saying that. They're just on the thinner side. There's nothing that stands out about this formula. I'm sad to say, even though I like a lot of Wet n Wild products, and while they look super pigmented in the tube, here is them swatched. There's the more sparkly one and there is the brighter pink one. They don't have any real pigment to them. You can see the sparkles in these more sparkly one when you're up close. They're quite big sparkles, but honestly the doe foot applicator is just so small on these. You don't pick up a lot of product when you're putting it on, and so I end up like dipping back into the tube like a bunch of times because I really just don't find that I get a lot that like transfers to my lips. These are an okay formula. They're not the greatest. I love a lot of Wet n Wild stuff. I just didn't find anything revolutionary about these. They are extremely, extremely sticky, and without them having like a whole lot of pigment to them, there's just not a lot of like benefit really to having like an overly sticky gloss, in my opinion. Again, just not a super standout formula. I have another one from NYX. This is Juice Gloss. This is in Pomegranate Clout. I really like this one. It's very similar to the like other NYX ones, and then it's just such a thin formula. Like NYX honestly does really, really thin formulas in their lip products. I like that this has like a pomegranate scent or some kind of fruity scent to it. I don't think it's overly pigmented. I don't think it's overly sticky. So I think this one is really good. Like if you're into just kind of a fruity lip gloss, this is awesome. I have one lip gloss here from Stila. This is called the Beauty Boss Lip Gloss. I've had this in my collection for so long. This one is called Synergy. This is honestly one that I just can't ever part with because it hasn't gone bad yet and it's just so beautiful. Like the color of it, the texture of it, it has little sparkles in it. So, you know, it almost looks like a 3D effect when it's on your lips. It's just so smooth and like not sticky, but like long lasting. Like even swatching it just feels good. So yeah, I don't think the product has gone bad. I honestly just can't get rid of it. I don't even reach for it that much, but honestly, it's such a good formulation, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about Stila anymore, but even when I did, I never heard of them talking about their lip gloss formula, but I honestly think it's freaking awesome. Thin, glossy, not sticky, lasts a good amount of time. Such a beautiful shade. I have 5 here of the lifter glosses from Maybelline. These 3 are actually part of their new line. I think they're called their Candy Drop line. They came out with 5 shades. I had 4. My daughter took 1. It was like the more red shade. Again, she takes like all my lip products. And these are some of their like older launches. This is probably like one of my favorite tried and true gloss formulas. And I think we've all kind of identified this as like, these are kind of like a dupe or a drugstore equivalent of what the Fenty gloss bombs do. I love that they came out with some brighter shades, because mostly what they had in their line was very like neutral tones. And then they had like a brass line with a lot of brown, again, just very nudie colors. But these ones are much more like pigmented and vibrant. And yeah, the other one I had, I think was red. It was called Gummy Bear. And then they have another one that's like more pinky, which I can't remember what that was. They're so comfortable and they go on. They're actually like a thin formula for being as like substantial as they feel on the lips. And they're sticky enough that they stay on really well. They're just not overly sticky. I just swatched them all out, and honestly, they have decent pigmentation. They're just so comfortable even swatching them. So this one is Pearl, that one is Petal, this one is called Peach Ring, this is Taffy, and that one is Sweetheart. So the other one I had was Gummy Bear. I don't know what I said, but it was Gummy Bear, and it was like a redder shade. Like substantial packaging too, like I like that. You don't get lost in your purse. I just like everything about these. These are such a good formula. So the final ones that I have are from CoverGirl. These are their Clean Fresh Yummy Glosses. I love these, you guys. These are relatively new, I believe, and they're even more new to me. These ones almost feel like a balm. They are super thin. They feel a lot like the Serum Balm Intense from Make Beauty. I would say they're like exactly that, but like the drugstore version. They're really, really thin, you guys. They're not sticky. They're not overly pigmented either. I mean, especially not as like pigmented as they look in the tube. They're much lighter when they get to the lips. Like even this purple one, it kind of looks like the doe foot applicator would give it more color, but it just doesn't. Yeah, they remind me of the Make Beauty Serum Balm Intenses, or even the Serum Balm itself, maybe not the Intense that just has more pigment. They're such a good formulation. I have not tried anything from CoverGirl recently that I've been blown away by. These are a tremendous formula, and they're pretty inexpensive. The shades that I have, the more orangey one is called Peach Out. The one in the middle that's like the ready one, it's called But First a Cosmo, and the more purpley one is called Lavender. And you thought we were done. Welcome to my face. We're gonna give my hands a break. We're gonna do some lip swatches of some of my favorite ones now, so you guys can see what they look like applied. So we'll give my hand a break and we will go ahead and torment my lips. These are the ones that I wanted to try on for you guys because they're honestly some of my favorites, so you can see how they look on the lips and maybe kind of get an idea of what I was talking about with some of these. So the first one that I want to try on is the one from Lunar Beauty. This one again is in the shade Aura. This is so smooth that you only really need to apply it to like the bottom lip, and then you just press your lips together and that's it. It's a really milky consistency. Like it is so smooth, it almost feels like a lip oil. This is one of my favorite gloss formulas because it's just so shiny and juicy, and it's just so good. The other one, the clear one that I had that I think my daughter also took, it was also very beautiful, super juicy. So that's this one. And also there is literally nothing sticky about that. It goes on like silk, it comes off like silk. Let's do the one from Nars. This one is the Oil Infused Lip Tint in High Security. So just a really light tint. But you guys, the way that this feels when you're applying it, it's like before its time. It is one of the most like oily, smooth, lip filling lip oils. I'm surprised that no one talks about these as popular as lip oils are right now because it's so comfortable. It's just so beautiful and so comfortable. I can't describe, other than like the one from Kiko, anything other than saying like it literally feels like oil that you're putting on your lips, and it's just the right of pigmentation. It's like your lips but better kind of situation. So that is this one from Nars. I thought we would try on one from Rare Beauty, the tinted lip oils. This one is in the shade Wonder. I do have to say, with these, I get like a taste, like almost a flavor that's kind of unsettling. It almost is very lip product-y, and I don't love that. I feel like this actually has like a little bit of a tingle. Like it almost feels a little bit plumping, if I'm being totally honest. I don't think that this claims to be plumping, but there's something that I sense in it. I love all of these shades, but I honestly think that this one is probably my favorite in Wonder. I just think it's my lips, but better. This is another product where I could just rub my lips together incessantly and the product would just fade off very quickly because it's just so comfortable. Like I mentioned before, just not your conventional kind of lip oil formula. Okay, let's try one on from LA Girl. This is one of the lip oils. This one is in the shade Shimmer Grapefruit. It even almost like tastes like grapefruit. Like I told you that these ones were ones that had a very strong smell to them and that they smell just like grapefruit, just like watermelon, very distinct smelling. Like they actually smelled like the shades themselves, but these almost like kind of taste like it. But can you just see how high shine they are? And it's so smooth going on. It's like this one from Nars, and that it's really smooth, very lip filling. This, $5. This much more. I think this retails for $29. These two have like almost a tingle to them. Like they don't claim to be plumping or anything, but I definitely feel a tingle every time I put these on. These are just really good, inexpensive lip oils. Let's try this one on from Kismet. I thought because I was talking about how pigmented it was and that nobody talks about this product, I would just show you. I think when I first got this, I honestly didn't think that I would like the shade, but I ended up quite enjoying it. Like in my collection, I don't really have like a gloss that's this color or very many lip products that are kind of this vibrant. I think it's just a very comfortable formula. So yeah, wanted to try this one on. Let's try one of the lip oils from Kosas. Just a very milky formula. The one that I tried on was Unhooked. It's super comfortable. Doesn't have like a whole lot of pigment, but this color probably wouldn't. It's just a really milky lip oil. I was talking so much about the color of the ABH one, I thought we would put that one on next. This is the most unique color that I have in my collection because it's almost like gold. It has like gold shimmers in it, and so it's almost like a metallic lip gloss that's so comfortable and not sticky and really pigmented. So I love this one. I think ABH does a tremendous job on their lip gloss formulas. This is so good. Again, this one is in Saint-Tropez. It is one of the most unique lip gloss colors in my entire collection. Let's try on one of the ones from NYX. I say one of the ones, but I only have one left. This one is in Follow Back. Just a glossy formula. Decent pigmentation. I really liked the one in Newsfeed and I liked the one that was clear. I think that they're very comfortable. They have like a fruity flavor to them. I think these were a good launch from NYX. I'm rarely disappointed in NYX lip products, so I think this was a really good one, you guys. Can't go wrong, $9. Let's try on the one from Haus Labs. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but this is the PhD Hybrid Lip Oil. This one just says Tint, so I don't exactly know what the shade is. Such a smooth formula, so smooth. It goes on so easily. It's so nice and comfortable. It almost feels like a balm, kind of, in a sense. It's not like overly glossy, but it's definitely like an extremely comfortable formula. So that's this one. Let's follow that up with the one from Clarins in 08 Strawberry. It's smooth, it feels good going on. Also, smells and tastes like fruit. So let's throw on one of the Fenty Gloss Bombs. This one is in Fenty Glow. Now that I'm kind of feeling it, like I almost feel like the one from Haus Labs and the Fenty one feel relatively similar on the lips or going on. I would say that the one from Fenty is like a heavier weight consistency than the one from Haus Labs, and one is a gloss and one is a lip oil, but they feel very similar. That is the Gloss Bomb from Fenty. That is like the stickiest one by far. Let's throw on one of the Pat McGrath Mini Opulous glosses because I love this and I was bragging about like how beautiful the shade was. You know, this is very similar now that I'm looking at it to the one from ABH. They're very similar because they have gold glitter particles, so they look very iridescent on the lips. This is just such a comfortable, like super slippy, nice and pigmented formula from Pat McGrath. Let's throw on the Fruit Fetish Lip Oil from Milani. This one again was in Cherry Lime. I feel like I've made my lips red in certain places. Anyway, this one is super comfortable, tastes like fruit, basically like you're eating candy. It's very similar, honestly, to both of these. So like drugstore equivalent of these two is this one, especially these two. Like these two are so similar. This one is a more sticky formula than the one from Milani, but they're both beautiful. You would not have to get this if you had this. They're so similar. Let's put on one of the new releases from Makeup by Mario. This is the Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Color. This one is in Smoky Pink. This is so smooth and easy to put on and so thin and lightweight that I don't really understand what people were saying. It pills up and it gets patchy. Like, it's too thin to do that, in my opinion. Like, it's never been thick enough to do that to my lips. I love this. This is so comfortable. And I find that it's quite a long-lasting formula. So I don't experience any of the issues that people talk about with this. Beautiful. Let's follow that up with their Moisture Glow Plumping Lip Serums. I'm gonna do the Apricot Glow one. I think this is very similar. I think the biggest difference is that this is a more glossy, like thicker formula than this one, but I don't see that there's that much difference in them. I'd say honestly, if any one of them gets patchy on me, it's these ones and not these ones. I think it's beautiful. It's really comfortable. I find that this one has more of a plumping sensation, like much more than this one does, because I really don't feel it with this one. I'm just throwing on this Serum Balm Intense from Make Beauty. Oh my gosh. That one honestly feels like it's rescuing my lips from what I'm doing to it. It just feels, this is almost like a lip oil, honestly. This is just such an underrated product. Like, it is so comfortable. This one just makes you want to go, It's so comfortable. This one is in the shade Magnetic Mauve. I did not mention that before, but honestly, I feel like I would want to get different shades in this just to see what the pigment is like, because this one is more of a purpley undertone. I do notice that Make Beauty does that. I have a blush that's also in mauve from them, and it also has like a very purpley undertone. It's quite a unique blush color in my collection, but I would like to see what the other ones, these Serum Balm Intenses, look like. Let's try on one of the ones from Moira Beauty. This one is in Honey Boo. So this is one of the darker shades, and I laid it on pretty thick just now, and so it's definitely pigmented lip oil, but as it begins to fade, it looks so good on the lips. It's a super long lasting formula. It's glossy, it's pigmented, it's more like a gloss than a lip oil in my opinion, but it is a good formulation from Moira. Let's go ahead and throw on one of the lifter glosses from Maybelline. This one is the Peach Ring one. This is one of their new launches. Not a huge amount of pigmentation when this gets to the lips. It's just glossy and nice and so comfortable and so smooth. For whatever reason, these lifter glosses all taste like candy or fruit to me, and they all have the same flavor. I haven't noticed any kind of like different scent or flavor in the different lines of these lifter glosses. So that's that one. We are down to our final lip product. I'm gonna throw on the CoverGirl Yummy Gloss very last, and then I'm gonna keep this one on because it is so beautiful and so comfortable. So like I mentioned before, there's no real pigment to this. It's just a nice gloss, not overly thick, kind of medium weight, medium gloss, but feels like a balm. It's just extremely comfortable, pretty inexpensive. I think it's a really good formulation from CoverGirl. So that was the last gloss, you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it's on the longer side. I know that it's a little bit different. I wanted to go over my lip collection and then try on some of the stuff that I really like, because I thought that that would be kind of helpful and that you could see what I meant when it kind of like translates to the lips. I hope you enjoyed. If you guys are new to my channel, hi, my name is Carrie. If you're a current subscriber, hello, welcome back. I appreciate all of you. I am out of here today, you guys, and I will catch you all in my next video.